Blood!
You want to read the little text box too?
Hard, Penthesilea, Trojan. The war continues at Troy, and another battle begins as the Amazons arrive at Athens, many miles away from Troy.
Come on.
While this war raged, blackening the sand with pyres lit for the fallen, far across the sea, the city of Athens was about to face
Salamis.
The Athenian king Theseus had kidnapped Hippolyte, the mighty queen of the Amazons.
Grant us the strength, Father Paris, to free our queen, my sister.
Penthesilea, we should attack together before their guards are alerted.
We will.
Whoa. There you go.
Kitty, kitty.
Just lay down. And we'll be fine. I can't pet you and play the game at the same time, though.
It's nearly time. We should take out their...
He's talking to you, viewers.
Into the citadel.
He really wants to pet you.
That too. Okay.
Especially you, Jason.
Oh, I have an axe.
There are many patrols about.
Mhm.
We should find a way into the city.
Shut up. I got swingy swings. I got an overhead swing. Hey.
Got kidda swings.
Like, okay. Oh, she's got a Sparta kick. That's my block, huh?
Mm-hmm.
No, quit chewing on it.
What are her combos?
No. Yeah.
Intruders! Kill them all, none must escape.
No. Ugh.
She wants to ask you a question.
She wants to chew on my headset.
No, I mean Penthesilea. She wants to ask you a question.
Ah. Oh, don't run.
She gives a whole new meaning to Axe body spray.
Hmm. Keep rolling. What?
They saw you rolling. They hating.
That is not what I wanted to do. What?
Count the swings.
Obviously. Damn!
Yeah.
Are they actually all women?
Yep.
Nice.
And she comes in like a wrecking ball.
None of that now. Oh. Oh, she does the kicks too. Really? My ladies be messing up my combos. Who's left alive? Nobody?
Nobody.
Okay. Alright. No. What? Oh,
What?
Okay. The cat disappeared. I didn't know where she went. She's on my bookshelf. So, last time we read the user's review.
Oh, right.
So this time we have to see
What the critics had to say?
What the critics have to say. See if we're working with gold here.
Am I looking for... Do I get to choose which review I get to read?
Choose one bad one and one good one. Choose like the worst rated one you can find, and then whatever good one you want.
Alright.
That seemed to work out pretty good last time, I think.
Okay.
Her combos aren't too bad, but she's a little slow on the swings.
Okay, well that one's not in English, so I won't read that one. Alright. So this one's from PlayStation.
Oh damn! That was amazing.
Yep.
I like
Waiting for you to
that.
find that one.
I like that. I don't know how I did that. That's amazing. Can I do that with everyone? Oh, that actually kills the guys too.
Yeah.
No.
Alright, so this is the bad one.
Alright.
It's on PlayStationLifestyle.net.
They sound like a bunch of douchebags.
Tired of Asian culture and history, Tecmo Koei decided this time to pick on ancient Greece for one of their latest offerings, Warriors Legends of Troy. With a new backdrop to the conflict and a lot of completely non-Asian characters, we learn that a new coat of paint isn't enough to fix repetitive and boring gameplay. The Legends of Troy, in Legends of Troy, you're dropped into one of the biggest conflicts in Greek mythology, the 10-year Trojan War. The story revolves around the events of Prince Paris and his abduction of Helen of Troy, which then led to Menelaus launching an all-out attack on the city of Troy. In the game, you will play from the side of the Trojans and their defense as well as the Greeks and their attack. The story here is a strong point of the game with such a rich history of characters and interesting plot twists. There are 4 playable characters on each side, including the famous Achilles for the Greeks and Hector for the Trojans. Each character has their own missions during the game, so you'll spend a lot of time jumping sides from mission to mission. The problem here is that there really isn't much difference in the mission structure or depth, just who you are, after, and why. Secondary objectives are added to help provide a tiny bit of depth, and there are times when you can take various paths during the mission, but it all fails to provide much of a spark. Combat is the biggest part of your experience here, and also the biggest letdown. Take your character into the field of battle, mash 3 different attack buttons, and block, roll, whenever you get bored. There are combos that can be performed in the game, but are never needed, as you can simply just spam attack buttons, or down the enemy back with a shield bash.
Did they fight the bosses?
Did they play on a difficulty that wasn't easy? After enough attacks, a Fury meter will fill up and allow you to unleash a deadly barrage of attacks that do more damage. The whole Fury system could have been really epic, like some of the special attacks in Dynasty Warriors series, but sadly it's more of just the same with different visual effect. When in combat, you might notice that you have allies on your side, helping to overwhelm the enemy. Unfortunately, no one taught your AI teammates how to swing a sword, thus relegating them to taking up screen space and becoming an utter annoyance. Pouring salt to this open wound is the fact that there's not a lot of visual difference between enemy and foe. Yeah, enemy and foe. Leaving you hacking away blindly at the mob in front of you. Luckily, friendly fire isn't turned on, or I might have been killed or for being a traitor. Add in some poor hit detection and frequent dips in the frame rate, and you have for some very frustrated moments. Additionally, there are Kleos that can be collected by completing successful attacks. The Kleos can be spent on items for your character, which you have to assign to a grid, meaning you are limited on items that can be equipped. These items you purchase can be transferred between characters, which is nice, and come in handy during battles versus stronger enemies. The game tries to spice things up with challenges that you unlock during your playthrough. Arena has you selecting a character and fighting through different opponents similar to a tournament. Rampage pits you against onslaught of enemies who you must kill to build up your Clio score, and Bloodlust, where you're slowly losing health and must continue. Sweetie, go to sleep.
What?
The little one just started crying. I'm hoping she'll just fall asleep on her own, though. Sometimes she does. What was I? Rampage pits you against when you're Bloodlust. You're slowly losing health and must continue to defeat enemies to stay alive. These modes aren't terrible and can be a fun change to the missions, but don't provide much in the way of fun. The arena mode would have had some serious potential with offline battles versus friends or online fights, but you are left to fight just the computer. Presentation doesn't do the game any favors either, as graphically the game isn't quite where it could be. Designs of the main characters are solid, but animation during the cutscenes is not without characters' mouths not synced properly. The dialogue in the game is actually fairly good, though not outstanding, and while most of the main characters are well voiced, a few leave desired. The game scores the highlight of the audio side, though, with solid tunes and proper placement and timing of the songs. In the end, Warriors Legends of Troy is something that doesn't really do anything memorable. Its great setting and characters' mythology are let down by bland combat and forgetful missions. While the game can be fun in spurts, there are plenty of better options on the market, should you feel the need to mash some buttons. Unless you're dying for a taste of Greek mythology or extremely bored, this is one game you won't be sorry you missed. 3 out of 10.
Damn.
So, on the other side of the spectrum.
Oh! Okay. So that happened.
That move is so good.
It feels really broken.
Alright, so this one is from the 6th Axis. Though one of console gaming giants in Japan, the Warriors franchise never found a strong foothold in Western market. To resolve this issue and enrich the brand name, Koei established a development studio in Canada to create an all-new Warriors title, which would appeal primarily to American/European gamers. Info launches on March 18th. First game developed by Koei Canada, will not release on Xbox 360 in Japan or the US. That middle one is not true.
It did release in Japan, right?
No. It was not the first game developed by Koei Canada. It was actually like the 3rd game developed by Koei Canada.
Ah.
I think it let you could smash that door. I mean, there was a symbol
there.
Yeah.
Oh, X. Sparta.
Thank you, Penthesilea.
Seriously? Get out of here. Come here. I'm gonna. Yeah. What else did? What was the first game developed by Canada?
By Koei Canada? Fatal Inertia, combat racing game, which I worked on as well. I think the second one was called Feed the Stars or something. It was a DS game. Not. Something like Son of the Stars. Let's see. Pray the Stars, that's what it was. Super Japanesey name. Anyways, Omega Force, the Japanese-based creators of the series, now focus mainly on setting the Warriors games in either Three Kingdoms, China, or feudal Japan, with a hint of Gundam every now and then. Rather than simply following suit, Koei Canada has decided to go even further back in the pages of history to the time of the ancient Greeks, the Trojan War to be precise. The legendary war starts with the Spartan king Menelaus awakening to find his wife Helen missing. During his stay, Paris, a prince of Troy and ally to the Spartans, courted Helen, and the two of them fled back to his city. Seeing this as an act of betrayal and humiliation, Menelaus declared war on Troy, mobilizing the support of the surrounding clans. It is then that his brother, the mighty conqueror Agamemnon, accompanies him, though not just to restore honor to this disgraced king, but to purge the land of an aged rival. The story is told through the exploits of 8 individual warriors, both Greek and Trojan, over the course of 21 separate missions.
Hold on.
Kitty.
She was at the door. I don't know if she has to use the bathroom. The litter box is in a different room, so.
Fair enough. Your litter box is in another castle.
Pretty much.
For anyone unacquainted with the original... Oh, wait. Though each of the... Where am I? I lost where I was.
They went far back in the pages of history, blah, blah, blah.
Stories told through exploits of 8 individual warriors, both Greek and Trojan, over the course of 21 separate missions, from the initial invasion to its bloody conclusion. It's a great retelling of the legend, focusing on the main characters as much as the treacherous gods who manipulate them. Though each of the 8 warriors are prominent in their own respects, Achilles spends most time in the spotlight. For anyone unacquainted with the original epic or screen adaptation, there are plenty of casualties, tragedies, and fateful twists, all of which will keep you coming back for more. Though the comparisons are inevitable, Legend of Troy isn't a brick-for-brick copy of Omega Force's existing Warriors formula. Though you will face off against hundreds of foes at a time, there are numerous similarities in gameplay. Legend of Troy has a strangely unique feel to it. Each of the 21 missions are strung together in chronological order and are character-centric, a chapter select option being available for the main menu. The linear structure of the game will baffle fans of the series, especially those who are used to having at least 40 or so different characters to choose from. Aside from the campaign, there are also several challenge modes, including Rampage, in which players have to keep their combo meter running without being struck. They are a worthwhile add-on, though the bulk of the game rests within a single-player campaign. Unfortunately, there are no options for split-screen play in Warriors of Troy, and though this will frustrate some players, it can be argued that this results in a more engaging cinematic experience. Before marching into battle, players can purchase and equip various trinkets to buffer stats and buffer stats? I think it's just buff stats. And unlock various abilities/moves. The inventory is designed in a grid format, each item either square or rectangular shape, taking up a number of blocks.
Oh, kick! Sorry. Go ahead.
The system is efficient enough, though it would have been great to see added perks for lining up a chain of similar items for existence. For instance, there we go. Words hard. Instead, it just acts as a more interactive way of managing equipment. Battles themselves are staged in small quadrants of a colossal map, with some areas being revisited during later chapters of the game. Players will be tasked with completing a network of main objectives while also keeping... You got wrecked.
It did a lot more damage than I thought it was going to.
Keeping an eye out for secondaries which unlock additional clues. Chapters usually culminate in large-scale skirmish or boss battle in which small-scale arenas are formed. Some will notice the inclusion of huge monster battles. I won't say any more about that. Without any context, these encounters might look like they are shoehorned in, but their presence is justified, their integration genuine. In terms of basics, the combat itself borrows heavily from Dynasty Wars schematic, first put into practice way back in 2000.
I can't stagger this guy at all.
No.
It's like I parry him, hit him once, and then he doesn't care.
No, I don't think you can actually... I don't think these guys flinch that much. That was kind of their thing. But you can parry them.
No, I didn't mean to do that. Damn it.
Because they have pretty big tails. Yeah, so you can parry the hell out of them. By combining light and heavy attacks, players will slice through enemy ranks, collecting Kleos, the in-game currency, as well as filling the Fury gauge. Once full, the character will burst into a frenzy, the range of his attacks amplified as well as their potency. However, it's not all old hat. Each character will come equipped with a hand weapon and shield, which is useful for stun attacks. These basically incapacitate enemies for a short period, either allowing the player to escape or use a finishing blow. These are can animations which will deal... these are can animations that will deal instant death to dazed runs or officers low on health.
Oh, there we go. Jerk. That shouldn't have been that hard. Run away for health, lady!
They're great the first few times. After a while, you'll find yourself avoiding them to conserve time, especially if you're playing in long stretches. These are also the added abilities of utilizing the weapons of fallen enemies scattered throughout the battlefield. It adds a sense of depth to the combat, though you'll find these weapons to be a lot weaker and will result in hurling them at fleeing enemies instead, which is immensely satisfying. In essence, Legend of Troy strips the core mechanics of Dynasty Warriors, making the player feel as though they control just one character instead of an army. It's good fun, though a few additional gameplay features would certainly not have gone amiss. Though it's not spectacular, the game can hardly be knocked when it comes to visuals. Animations are mostly fluid, and in some cases downright brutal. The superb lighting effects added a cinematic sheen to both the gameplay and pre-rendered cutscenes. Between chapters, there are also a fair amount of narration, told using glyphs and artwork that you would spot on the circumference of an ancient black and bronze Greek vase. The script can be overly melodramatic in parts, though it's held up nicely by a panel of strong voice actors. Even more impressive is the soundtrack. You know, whenever they say strong voice actors, I just assume they're talking about the narrator.
They have to be. It has to be.
I mean, most of the characters aren't that bad. It's really just Achilles that's utter garbage. Anyway, this even more impressive is the soundtrack, offering a sharp blend of battle orchestra and chilling melodies to accompany some of the more sinister scenes of the game. Pros: a superb, substantial retelling of Trojan War. Characters have plenty of depth and personality. Combat is easy to get into and solid throughout. Voice work and script fit nicely with a neat soundtrack. Some minor yet fun game mechanics, much more visceral than previous franchise installments. Cons: combat could prove frustrating for the impatient. Little replay value compared to other Warriors titles. The occasional choke point here and there can be off-putting.
Alright, I guess that's it.
Warriors Legend of Troy might not be the breakthrough some had hoped for, and it may not feel more engineered toward the Western gamer, but it's still a good game. The gameplay, though mostly familiar, is solid, offering a different pace as well as several unique mechanics to boot. If you despise the Warriors series, Legend of Troy isn't likely to convert you, though as a standalone title, it's plenty of fun. The game's ending suggests that a sequel is probable, and hopefully Koei Canada will step up to the challenge. Yeah, funny that. Though not a heroic first attempt, Legends of Troy has based the foundations for what could be a very successful series.
There's bad guys over here somewhere.
And shortly thereafter,
But
most of the team was fired or laid off.
Does it say that?
No, not me saying that.
Oh, hello. Did they close that studio down after the merge?
No, because we made this game after the merge, but after this game, they laid off like probably about half of the studio, decided to focus on like mobile or social games, and then shortly thereafter, like closed down when they realized that wasn't working either.
That sucks.
Yep.
Ow.
I mean, you know, as much as I enjoyed working at Koei, they just didn't understand how to use us. you know, they wanted to treat us like another Japanese studio, while at the same time expecting us to be able to like do the things that the Japanese studios were
Failing
not
to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can't do that.
Yeah.
We're gonna run you like this, but we want you to do this.
Yeah, no, and that was probably like the biggest point of frustration for all of us. Like, I mean, when I was actually in Japan and like, you know, they had like their, you know, their big company meetings, multiple times they were like, yeah, we need to, you know, start developing our games more like America does, and then like they wouldn't actually change anything because they're like, these are our traditions and this is how we do things. And it's just like, well, you can't be more like America and then not actually change.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah. You know, I mean, the company's still around, so obviously it's doing something right.
Yeah, Dynasty Warriors.
Well, and other things. I mean, hell, they got Hyrule Warriors and the Dragon Quest Heroes, but they also got like, you know, they've done more Nobunaga's Ambition games and stuff like that. And you know, the Tecmo side isn't doing terribly horribly.
Is there anything over here?
I think this was like a secret way.
Oh, it's just a shortcut.
No, I think it was a secret way in, which might have had a secondary objective associated with it. But you had already gotten in, so it probably didn't care.
Oh. Well, are there 3 objectives on? It's not going to show me.
It's not going to tell you until you're done.
That would have made the map a lot quicker. Because this is like right at the beginning. Well, dang.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, it was right at the beginning.
Well, they should have said, like, find the hidden entrance.
Well, I think it was like, if you found the hidden entrance, then something was going to come out of it, but I don't know. Whatever. Too late now. And I don't even remember if that's actually true or not, so I could have just made all that up.
Where do I...
Go into the main door.
Oh, okay. Sparta! What? Police!
And this is going to kick you back. Oh, that's the right place.
Penthesilea!
Sister! The poor lieutenant. I cannot stand to see Teseus treat you this way. We must make him suffer for this.
Oh, I've killed everybody, like... So, what'd they give you?
7 out of 10.
Ah.
Teseus.
Do not let them escape!
He's heading for the palace! After him!
Okay. So what do you think?
About the reviews?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the guy said, if you don't like Warriors games, this game wasn't going to magically make you like it. I mean, even like the lead designer, there are a lot of things that he would have done differently had he had more autonomy. But at the end of the day, we're still beholden to our parent company, and there are things that they expected. And even though they wanted us to make a game for the West, they kept on telling us the changes we need to make so that it would sell better in Japan.
How did it do in Japan?
Not fantastic. So it really didn't matter anyway.
Did the Japanese care about anything else other than Japanese history?
I mean, they like Chinese history, but I mean that's the thing. It's like
but
the Japanese don't really know much
Chinese.
about this. Yeah, but like things like like the art of war and stuff like that, like still affected the Japanese. So I think they still enjoy that. Yeah, but that's its own thing.
That's it. If you say so.
Nanking is a complicated situation.
That's what happens when you get too much power too quickly.
Wow.
I'll cut off his escape.
The entire
while you attack
eastern,
the
like the
main.
entire eastern
Leave Penthesilea
part of
to
World
me.
War II is complex.
It's not really complex. Japan went on a power craze.
Well, yeah, but that's a power craze that was taught to it by America and Britain.
I want to be part of this group that's not supposed to take over the world, and we're taking over the world.
Well, no, they like we showed up in Japan and said, "Hey, your way of living is no longer a valid way of living. It's all about imperialism now." And they were like, "Oh, okay, explain to us imperialism." And we're like, "Well, we conquer places and subjugate them." And they're like, "Oh, okay, we can do that." And they're like, "Oh, no. We, white people, conquer places and subjugate them. You get conquered and subjugated." And they're like...
I wouldn't call the Spanish white.
They were European, they were white.
Call them white. That's like calling a Portuguese person white. Have you ever seen
Yes.
a Portuguese person?
They are still...
They are
I mean-
not white.
Hispanic people are still considered still considered Caucasian.
They're considered Hispanic and Latino.
Yeah, which is a subset of Caucasian.
Oh. This guy's, blocky. There we go.
And pretty much for about 100 years, give or take, the Japanese tried to show that they could be imperialist, and pretty much the white nations were like, "Nope, you can't do that." And then they said, "Well, fuck that shit. We're going to create an Asian imperialism. We will conquer Asia, and that will be our empire, and the white people will not be allowed." And the Chinese and the Koreans were like, whoa, we did not agree to this. And the Chinese nationalists asked the US for help, and the Pacific Theater kind of started.
Well, the Pacific Theater started when they bombed us.
Well, they bombed us because we were interfering with their conquering of China.
Oh, damn.
We were like, we're not going to the war. Like, we're staying out of this war, but we're going to keep giving tanks and stuff to China. And the Japanese were like, okay, enough is a fucking enough. We need to do something to tell the Americans to stay out of our war. And, you know, a bunch of people said, this is a bad idea. Like, they haven't attacked, like, directly. They're just supplying our enemies. And we're taking most of that stuff and using it ourselves. And then we're losing that to the communists. Because the communists are more organized than the nationalists.
Yeah.
And then they woke the sleeping dragon and made things a lot more difficult for themselves.
Yeah. Oop. Oh, I won. I won! I didn't die to him! Can you believe
Good
that?
job.
Uh-oh. Was that her sister? Yep.
No! Hippolyte!
Why
I'm
didn't
sorry.
you dodge?
Queen Hippolyte,
Sound a retreat!
retreat. We have the Athenians on the run.
God help me! We must retreat! Now!
Retreat! Call the retreat!
Well, that means she's queen now, right?
Yeah, but also means that she's a kinslayer.
It's friendly fire. It's okay. It happens.
Not in this game, it doesn't.
Well, apparently... Oh, there was 4 objectives there. Huh.
Yep.
Well, didn't get that unique item.
Nope.
Rip. Yeah.
There's actually, I think, a button that lets you take what everyone else already has, like someone else already has. Hit triangle.
There we go.
Hey, you can buy a good item now. You have like 10,000.
Oh, oops. What?
What?
There we go. Anything unlock? Ow. Garbage.
Well, those are the uniques, but there's still those other items. Or you can get that ring if you wanted.
Yeah.
What about the ring of Asclepius?
What was that? Ring of what?
Ring of Asclepios. The only thing that begins with the words ring of.
Oh. Yeah, sure.
You can choose not to if you don't want to. Oh, too late now.
Sure.